We got 2 minutes before we start. We are going to be using transformations to graph sine and cosine graphs. Today is January the 13th. Um, right now we have 8 people. I'm missing too many students. We got 2 minutes before we start. We are going to be using transformations to graph Okay, I'm missing too many people, so I'm gonna give you another minute for students to log in. Um, we should have 22 students. Right now we have 9, a total of 9 students. So let me go ahead and take roll. Okay, so let me go ahead and use the Google Voice. At the mean, while we're waiting, go ahead and take out your homework. This is the homework that you had to do. I'm gonna go and display it. Remember, you had to graph those 4 graphs, or graph those 4 equations, and we're gonna do that together. So okay, make sure you sign in. Make sure to sign in. I will be calling on you again, and I will be checking your work as I told you as we came back from the. I want to make sure that everybody is with me. You are on the same page with me. So right now we're up to. Okay, I'm missing right now. I'm missing Chrisette. So thank you for being here early or on time. I'm just going to go and make a couple of parent contacts. So the only people that are missing, we had a lot of people just come in. Diego, Brittany, Claire, and Chrisette. So let me go ahead and type that in here. We just got Brittany in. Okay. Good afternoon. Okay, we got Brittany in. So now we're missing Diego, Claire, and Chrisette. So let me go ahead and make a contact to Claire. That's Claire, and then Diego. All right. Thank you guys for being here on time. Remember, I want to remind you to please come on time so I don't waste any time since we only have an hour. I do want to go back to week 1, and I want to look at who has submitted what items. So last week we talked about graphing sine and cosine, and all you had to do was submit notes. So let me go ahead and filter it by your period. If you hear your name, you need to let me know what's the status of those notes. These are the notes I took last time. Diego, well, he just came in. Diego, Chrisette, and Lorraine. Brianna, what's the status of the notes from last week? Let me. We're talking about last week's notes. Okay, so I'm asking Brianna, Diego, what's the status of last week's note? If you can go ahead and give me a response. The next thing that we did was last week, we talked about the unit circle and how to read the unit circle. And I called that the problem of the day. And I think Natalie was asking about the problem of the day. I'm going to go ahead and see who submitted the problem of the day, which is reading the unit circle. Okay, we have several people that have not submitted. Arantex, what's the status on that? So I've sent you a message, Arantex, about the problem of the day. Anna, I know that you've been missing quite a days. If you can look at what you're missing, those 2 items from last week. Ander, when are you going to submit the problem of the day that was reading the that was reading the unit circle? Okay, Sarah, problem of the day. That's what we did last week when we read the unit circle. And then Leo Valdez. Oh, Leo, you're missing last week's problem of the day. So it's not good here, because I've learned that if people don't submit, those become zeros in the grade book, and they cause people to fail. So those are the 2 items from last week. It was graphing sine and cosine, and then the problem of the day. This week, since this is Wednesday, I saw you on Monday this week, and we're looking at, that was week 18, that was last week. This is week 19. And what we did on week 19, we talked about amplitude, identifying the amplitude and period of sine and cosine. Those were notes that we had to do. And then we're going to go over the homework right now. So let me go ahead and look at the notes here for this period. Okay, people that have not submitted the notes, Diego. And please let me know where you're at with your notes. Okay, so that's Diego. Okay, the next person is Ander. Please let me know where your notes, where you are with your notes. Sarah, please let me know where you are with your notes, Sarah. And then Brianna. And then Leo, where are you at with your notes? With amplitude and period. Remember, this was the notes that we're talking about that we did together. Remember, we went over amplitude, period, phase shift, and also we went over vertical, the midline phase shift, vertical shift. So if you can tell me where you're at, I've sent you messages. I've noticed from last semester, like I said, if people are not submitting the notes or the homework, that causes you to fail. So make sure that you submit and also respond to me. Okay, please get that done. Today's agenda, so you know what we're doing today. Today is January the 13th, and we are, it says here, I can use transformations to graph sine and cosine graphs. We are going to go over the homework together. I did have a video for you to watch in regards to the homework. That's in case you need extra help. I did do a video. You're going to upload your homework. I'm going to give you time to upload your homework. We're going to do a lesson on transformations and graphing sine and cosine graphs. And then you're going to upload, and then we have a homework that I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. I'm going to assign it, and then hopefully we get to work on it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take roll again, make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Is Chrisette here? Is Chrisette here? Okay. Is Claire here? Okay, Claire just got here. Okay. Is Diego here? Yeah, Diego's here. Okay, so we got 100%. Oh no, we're missing Chrisette. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you where we're at. Oh. All right, here we go. We did this last week, the last time on Monday. So make sure you check this. We had amplitude, right? And we said the amplitude was 5. The period was 2 pi divided by b. In this case, this is b. So we have 2 pi over pi. Pi's cancel. You're left with 2. Remember, we did this last time, sort of a review. And to find the amplitude, it's the absolute value of 5, which is 5. Okay. Number 2. Let's go ahead and do number 2. A review again. We said to find the amplitude, it's the number that's in front of cosine. In this case, it's -4. So the amplitude is 4. The period, and this is review what we did last time, is 2 pi over b. In this case, this is b. So we have 2 pi over 3 over 2. And remember, I told you that we're gonna have to make sure we understand how to divide fractions. So we have 2 pi over 1 times the reciprocal of 3 over 2, which is 2 over 3. And we did notice that the period, we noticed that the period was 4 pi over 3. Okay. So if you didn't get to write this down, was this homework or notes? Anna is asking. This is homework. It says notes on top, but that's don't read into that. This is the homework that we had. This is the homework that I assigned last time. Okay. Number 3. This was the homework that we did last time, and we did it in class. That's why I'm going pretty fast. So the amplitude is the absolute value of 2. So the amplitude is 2. And then the period is going to be 2 pi over b. Remember that this is b. So it's 2 pi over 3. That was the period. Okay. And remember number 4, we did this last time. Number 4, we have the amplitude is the absolute value of 7. So that's 7. The period is 2 pi over b. So in this case, it's 2 pi over b, which is 4. So the period is pi over 2. And that's where we stopped last time. Okay. So I know that you guys have finished your homework. And all I'm doing here is sharing the answer, but you're going to work with me, okay? Okay, let me start from the very top. I'm going to call on people. Mondo, Natalie, and Sarah. For number 5, it's asking you to graph using the transformation. So we're going to first identify the amplitude. So Mondo, Natalie, and Sarah, can you give me the amplitude? And just type it in. Good job, it's 2. It's the absolute value 2, which is 2. That's correct. Thank you, Sarah and Natalie. Okay, Leo, Arlene, and Claire. Can you give me the period? And I'll give you a hint. It's 2 pi over b. Remember where b is? B is the value that's in front of x. So give me the period. That's Arlene, Leo, Arlene, and Claire. Can you give me the period? Okay, remember, I'm expecting everybody to participate. Okay, so I have Arlene, Claire. The screen is very blurry, okay? I can't do anything about that. We're doing number 5. 2 pi. That's right. Arantax said it correctly. It is 2 pi. 2 pi. It's 2 pi. Okay. Okay, remember sine, the way she taught you sine, it's intercept, max, intercept, min, and then intercept. And we know that the period is 2 pi, so it starts at 0 and it ends in 2 pi. And in between 0 and 2 pi, in between 0 and 2 pi, 0 and 2 pi is going to be the intercept again. So just like she did it, I'm going to do it the same way. Intercept, intercept, intercept. Okay. So can you tell me what's going to be the max? Dylan, Hope, and Arantex. Can you give me the max? And where is it at? What's the max? Okay, Arantex answered. That's good. But I need Hope too. That's right, Hope. So where does it occur? Where does 2 occur? At what point? That's correct. At pi over 2. Okay. All right. So the next person, that's correct, Dylan. That's correct, Dylan. Okay. Christina, Brittany, and Gael. Where does the min occur? What is the min? What is the min? Christina, Brittany, and Gael. What is the min? We know that we have a max here. We have an intersection. Where is the min? Where is the min? It is the lowest point. So what is the lowest point? We know the highest point is 2. That's right, Brittany. It's -2. So where does -2 occur? Where does -2 occur? It is -2, but where does it occur? That's right, Arantex, at 3 pi over 2. And there you go. That should have been your answer. Okay, for the rest of the class, make sure you have that. That is the answer that you should have had. Are there any questions about number 5? Are there any questions about number 5? Does anybody need more time to write number 5? I know some of you are writing this, and I'm respecting that. So if you need more time, just let me know. I just want to make sure that you're working it out with me. Anybody need more time? Okay, let's go to number 7. Let's go to number 7. Okay. So we're going to have to graph y equals 2 cosine of x minus 1. So I'm going to ask several people questions. We're going to start with the amplitude. So Andrea, Galilea, Zenaida, 3 of you, you have to answer, what is the amplitude? Okay, good job, Andrea. Good job, Galilea. Remember, Zenaida, everybody has to participate. So it is the amplitude is absolute value 2, which is 2. What about the period? It would be Yahaira, Ana, and Diego. Do you know the period? Like I did last time, I gave them a hint. Remember, it's 2 pi over b. It's 2 pi over b. And the b is right in front of the x. Ana, that's correct. The period is 2 pi. Now we have something here that's happened. It's affected the midline. So we know that the displacement is -1. So you should have had a new midline. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the new midline. Here is the midline. She made the new midline, and that's d equals -1. So remember, cosine is max, intercept, min, intercept, max. So max, what's the max? So at zero, how many spaces do I have to go up? So I'm going to ask Ander, Brianna, and Dylan. At 0, at x equals 0, how many spaces do I go up from the midline? So I'm right here. How many spaces do I go up from the midline? Ander, Brianna, and Dylan. That's right, Dylan. You go up 2. 1, 2. So at 0, it's going to be 1 from the midline. And then we know that the period is 2 pi. So it's going to be over here. Does anybody know where the minimum is going to be? At what place? At what place will the minimum be? And I'm going to ask, again, I'm going to start at the very top. Nano, Natalie, and Sarah. Nano, Natalie, and Sarah, can you tell me where the minimum is going to occur? This is the max. This is the max. Where does the minimum occur? Nano, Natalie, and Sarah. Where does the minimum occur? That's correct. Nano, that's correct, Nano. Pi. So you go to pi, but you start at the midline. How many spaces do I go down? So that's going to be Leo, Arlene, and Claire. How many spaces do I go down from the midline at pi? Arlene, Leo, that's right, 2. 1, 2. And we know that the intercept is going to occur at pi over 2. And we know that the other intercept occurs at 3 pi over 2. And so it's going to be a smooth curve. And there it is. This is y equals 2 cosine of x minus 1. That's y equals 2 cosine of x minus 1. Okay. Does anybody need more time to write this down? Does anybody need more time to write this down? Okay, nobody has said anything. Okay, number 8. I'm going to ask several people questions here, okay? Chrisette needs time? Okay, so let me go back. Okay, go ahead and write that down, Chrisette. I'll give you another minute. And I did mark you present.
Sir,
Yes,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Okay, so you know how there's like you wrote down max and min and int.
Yeah,
Okay, so that changes whether it says co or sin, right?
right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. Cosine, if you see the pattern, cosine starts at 1. Where does sine start at? I was going to move it, but cosine starts at 0 and sine starts at, cosine starts at 1 as a max and sine starts at 0 as an intercept. Okay. But it's going to follow that same pattern. The only difference is it's going to change based on the amplitude, the period, and all that. Okay. All right. So let's look at number 8. And I'm going to ask people questions. Okay. So the next students to ask questions is Dylan, Hope, and Arantex. Give me the amplitude. So give me the amplitude. Remember, it's going to be the absolute value of -3. So she's correct. The amplitude of -3 is 3. The period is 2 pi over b. Remember that b is in front of the x. So let me go ahead and ask Christina, Brittany, and Gael. Can you tell me the period? Christina, Brittany, and Gael. What is the period? You have 2 pi over b. What is the value of b? So Brittany, Gael, b is 1. So what will the period be? 2 pi over 1. What is 2 pi over 1? That's right, Gael. It's going to be 2 pi. Okay. Is there a displacement? In other words, do we have a new midline? We do have a new midline. So what is a new midline? So I'm going to write D equals 2. So that's your new midline. So go to 2. and you draw your new midline. There's your midline. Remember, sine is going to start at 0, which is going to start at the intercept. Then it's going to have a max, and then it's going to have an intercept, and then it's going to have a min, and then it's going to have an intercept, right? So the intercept and the intercept is going to be at 0, and it's going to be at 2 pi. We also have another intercept at pi. So now we have an amplitude of 3. We have an amplitude of 3. So at pi over 2, how high should it go? It should go 3 units. So where should it be at? So Andrea Galea Zenaida, we're at pi over 2. How many spaces do I go up? 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and somebody said 5, and that's correct. So at pi over 2, it's at 5. So it's going to stretch like that, vertically stretch, and then go back down. Okay, at 3 pi over 2, what's my min now? Yahaira, Ana, Diego, what's my new min? Yahaira, Ana, and Diego. Remember, I had to go up 3, so now I have to go down how many spaces?
3.
So where am I going to be at now at 3 pi over 2? So at 3 pi over 2, where am I going to be at? Not sure. Okay. So you're at the midline. You're going to go 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3. So at 3 pi over 2, you should be at -1. At -1, because it's based on the midline. And then you go up, and that's it. Okay. So the max was at 5 and the min was at -1, and that's all based on the midline because the midline went up. That's right. Okay. All right. Does anybody have to write this down? Does anybody have to write this down? Anybody? Okay, so let's go ahead and go to number 6. We're going to go to 6. But we got to do something first, and trust me, you have to do it. This is what I did when I went over this. 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 pi. Trust me, you have to do that. So I broke it up into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 pi. And I'm going to do this because this one's a little bit different. Okay. Sine, well, the amplitude is -1, so it's 1. The period did change. So we have 2 pi over 1/2. So it's 2 pi times, okay, this is where you have to remember your arithmetic. 2 pi times the reciprocal of 1 over 2. So it's 2 over 1. So what does that say about the period? It's going to take longer. It's going to take longer. So 2 pi times 2 is 4 pi. This negative means it's going to reflect. It's going to reflect. And I know she mentioned intercept max, intercept, min, intercept, you're going to have to reverse it. So it's intercept, min, intercept, max, and then intercept. In other words, it's going to reverse. It's a reflection. So like I said, I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to do it here. We have intercept at the beginning of the period, and we have an intercept at the end of the period. So we have an intercept at the beginning, and we have an intercept at the end. So that's 4. We also have an intercept in the middle, which in this case now is 2 pi. So now you're going to go into halves. So in between 0 and 2 pi is your min. And remember your min is -1. So here is your min, -1. So now you see how it's going to go backwards. It's going to go backwards. And then at between 2 pi and 4 pi is 3 pi. And there's your graph. Okay. All right. Are there any questions as to why the graph looks like that? Any questions?
Sir,
How many-
why
Go ahead.
did you switch like the min and the max?
Because the negative reflects it.
Oh,
It's gonna-
okay.
It's
Thank
going to
you.
reflect it. Now, if you didn't reflect it, I'm going to show you the other one. It would have been like this. It would have been like this. It would have been like this, right? It would have been like this. It would have been like this. You see the black? Do you all see the black?
Yes.
That's the way it should look, but since there was a negative, there was a reflection. It reflects. Okay? Any questions? Okay. We did the homework together with the help of everybody in class. So now this was the homework 1 through 8. Go ahead and submit the homework in the It's Learning. So let me show you where it's at. You go to It's Learning. Go to Pre-Calculus B, because B is for the second semester. This is what we're going to do today. So this is not where you're going to submit. Go to Plans. And I think it was here. This was last time. So January 11th, January 12th, you're going to submit right here. You're going to submit right here. Yeah, that was where you submit. Okay. So go ahead and do that. So some of you already submitted. I'll give you another minute and then we'll start with the notes again. Okay. Do you know where to get the notes? If you go to It's Learning, it's a PowerPoint. Pre-Calculus B. If you go to it's right here. Here is the PowerPoint that you need to download. Okay. All right. And you will submit your notes. Okay. You will submit your notes. Anybody need more time to upload your notes, your assignments? These are the notes that we're going to do. It's right here. Yeah, I showed you where if you go to, it says using transformations to graph sinusoidal functions. It's this right here. These are the notes. Okay? Everybody understand that? Click on it, go to It's Learning, and you can download the notes. Unfortunately, I couldn't do a Google slide on this because it erased some of the things that I wanted to show you. So I have to use I had to use a PowerPoint. It's right here. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start unless there's somebody that still needs to upload. Is there anybody that still needs to upload? I know Andrea said me, so I'll wait. I'll go ahead and give you another minute. Okay. Take your notes. If you're writing this down, I'm going to try to tell you what you have to write down. Okay. So this is sort of a review of what we've been doing. I just want to make sure that you understand how to do this. So now we're going to go ahead and actually use the information that we've learned, and we're going to continue to graph. This is really important. I don't know if you want to make sure you write this down. Remember that A affects the amplitude. The B that's in front of the X affects the horizontal. It affects the period. Remember, we would say 2 pi divided by B. That affects the period. The C is going to shift either to the left. In this case, if it's minus, it shifts to the right. If it's plus, it shifts to the left. And then remember, D was a midline. So yes, you have to write this down. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that if you had to. Okay, so let me go out here. If you go to It's Learning, you go to 5.2 transformation, a suicide scene, I can't pronounce it. Sinusoidal functions. This is where you have to click, okay? And that's what I'm doing here. All right, so okay, this is important so you understand how to do this. Okay, remember the 5 points: 0, pi over 2, pi, 0, 3 pi over negative 1, and 2 pi. And I think the person that was teaching you said intercept. I'm going to try to annotate. Intercept max. I'll put M or A max. Intercept min intercepts. I apologize because I'm annotating with the Zoom. Okay, so here is the graph. We have the X and we have the Y. 0, 0 is the intercept, the max, the intercept, the min, the intercept, and then you have a smooth curve, right? In the case of cosine, I'm going to show you cosine. Please sketch it. We still are going to use 0, pi over 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So it's 0 pi over 2 pi 3 pi over 2 2 pi, And remember, the max is 1, the min is -1, the parent function. Sine starts at 0, cosine starts at 1. Max, intercept, min, intercept, max. It looks like this. Okay, so sine is intercept, max, intercept, min, intercept. Cosine is max, max as it goes up to 1, intercept, min, intercept, and then max. That's the pattern that sine and cosine will always follow. And by default, the period is 2 pi, and the amplitude is 1, okay? Any questions? I'll give you 10 seconds to write, 20 seconds to write this down. It's sort of a repeat of what I've been teaching you. I just want to make sure, you understand what I'm doing, okay? You can always go back to this video and watch it again, okay? Does anybody need more time? Does anybody need more time? Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. Let me clear this. Okay, this is what we were talking earlier, vertical translation. That D is going to affect the midline. So if you see any number that follows either sine or cosine, that's going to affect the graph. It's going to go, in this case, +3 is going to go up 3, okay? So D determines the direction of the vertical, and the word displacement means it's going to either go up or it's going to go down, all right? And I'll give you a minute to write this down if you have to write this down, okay? So remember that D is going to affect where it's at, okay? So here's an example. You see this is the parent function, sine, intercept, max, intercept, min, max, and it repeats. So the first one says sketch the graphs y equals sine of x minus 3. So I'm gonna go and show you that. Of course, that one is not x minus 3. That's actually sine of x plus 2. You notice that it goes up 2, and then the minus 3 goes down 3. You see that? All right. So you see how the minus 3, will shift it down, and you see how the plus 2 will shift it up. That's what I wanted you to understand, that that number on the outside is going to affect it going up or going down. Okay. I'll give you another minute to write this down. If you're writing this down. Okay. The minus C and it should be plus C or minus C. It's going to affect it. If it's plus C, it's going to go to the left. If it's minus C, it's going to go to the right. So that C is going to shift it. That's what I was talking about the other day. It's going to shift it. It's going to go left to right. Okay. So if you just write down these two things, that's fine. You understand that that plus C is going to shift it to the left, and that minus C is going to shift it to the right. So here's the example. We have y equals cosine x minus 3 pi over 2. So you see how it's x minus? So it's not going to go towards the negative side. It's actually going to go to the right side. And it's going to shift by 3 pi over 2. So this point is going to go in this direction, and it will stop at 3 pi over 2. You see that? It started here, and it moved the graph all the way over here. And you see where the red starts here? So that shows you how you would graph y equals cosine of x minus 3 pi over 2. Okay. Oh, now this one, it says plus, this one says plus pi over 2, so it's going to go to the left, negative pi over 2. Okay. Because of time, I'm going a little bit faster, but you can always go back and watch the video, okay? So now, this is what we're going to work on together. So if you're telling me what do I have to submit, this is probably what you're going to have to submit. You're going to submit the examples, okay? So let's answer these questions or these statements here. Draw the midline. So I'm going to ask people questions. Nano, Natalie, Chrisette, what's the new midline? What's the new midline? That's right. Armando said it right. That's 5. Remember, you got to respond. Armando, Natalie, Chrisette, I asked, what was the new midline? Nano responded, it was 5. That's correct. Amplitude. Sarah, Leo, Arlene, what is the amplitude? Thank you, Sarah. Sarah answered. Thank you, Arlene. So the amplitude of absolute value of 4 is 4. Okay, the next couple of people. Claire, Dylan, Hope. What is the period? I'll give you a hint. 2 pi over something. Remember I said it was B? So in this case, what is B? And what is the period? Dylan is correct. The period is 2 pi. All right, so let's sketch. So if you were asking me what you're going to have to submit on your notes, if you submit this in the next couple of examples, I'm going to give you 100 on your notes. So you just have to submit this. The stuff that we did before, that was sort of like a review. So here is the graph, and I'm trying my best to be nice and neat. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. The new midline is 5. So we have D is equal to 5. And we know that the amplitude is 4. So it's going to go up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? It's going to go up to 9. And we know that if it's 5, it's going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? It's 1. Okay. Sine. Sine is going to be, let me write it here, intercept, max, intercept, min, and then intercept. So we know that the period is 2 pi. So this is, the point is right here, and then we have 2 pi. Let's say 2 pi is here. And I'm sketching it. Here's 2 pi. I know that the other intercept is at pi. And I know that the max occurs between 0 and pi, and it's pi over 2. And then we know that the other min occurs at 3 pi over 2. And so it looks like this. There we go. Do a better job than I did. Do a better job than I did. There you go. Okay. We're going to do one more example. I know there's 3, but I'm going to do one more. And then we're going to go ahead and call it a day. And then I'm going to assign you homework. All right. Does anybody need to write this down? Anybody have to write this down? We have 5 more minutes in class, so let's go to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and clear it. Okay. Okay, the next couple of people, Christina, Brittany, and Gael. Christina, Brittany, and Gael. What's the midline? I'm not trying to trick you, but is there a number here? Christina, Brittany, and Gael. So what's the midline? What is D going to equal? Christina, Brittany, and Gael. 0. It's the x-axis. Okay. It's the x-axis. Andrea, Galilea, Zenaida. Can you give me the amplitude? That's right. It's the absolute value -2 is 2. And Yahaira, Ana, and Diego, can you give me the period? Ana, Diego, and Yahaira. You're right, Yahaira. 2 pi. It's 2 pi. So let's go ahead and draw your x-axis, draw your y-axis, and remember how cosine is. It's going to be max, intercept, min, intercept, max. And I'm trying to write this. Okay, what is the negative going to do to this function? What is a negative going to do to this function? Ander, Brianna, Dylan, what is a negative going to do to this function? Ander, Brianna, and Dylan, what is this negative going to do to this function? No. The negative is going to reflect it over the x-axis. So you go from 0 to 2 pi, and you do have an intercept at pi. So your intercept is here, your intercept is here, your intercept is here. No, I'm sorry, it's cosine. Your max is here, and your max is here, and your min is here. But since there's a negative, it's going to reflect. So you actually have a min, you have a max, and you have a min, and then you have an intercept here. This is pi over 2. And you have an intercept here, which is 3 pi over 2. So it looks like this. And that's the graph. Okay, because of the negative, it reflects. So write that down, it reflects. Over the x-axis. It reflects over the x-axis. Okay, we got 2 minutes, and you got 2 minutes. So remember, you're going to submit your notes, and the only thing I want you to submit is example 1 and example 2. Submit example 1, example 2. You have 2 minutes, and if you submit it, please let me know. I know some of you are exiting. We still have a minute in class. You may go, and I'll check if you submitted next time. Have a good afternoon, guys. Have a good afternoon. Bye, Nano.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Bye, everybody.